Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be in the continental United States, or I'm going to hopefully say around the world. You're listening to our podcast. You have joined the Urban Therapist, and I am your host, Eddie Jean Hall Jr. And joining me today, as always, is my good friend and the co host and producer of the Urban Therapist, Mr. Lewis Rhodes. What's going on, Lou?
What's up? What's up?
I was about to say, where you at, man? I'm trying to do this cool intro, and I'm like, he is here, right? He
I'm
coming on.
I'm having vacation fatigue or something. Like I can remember what buttons to press. So
Well, hey,
that's
listen. Well, I'm glad you. I'm glad you remember what buttons because I do not know, not one, none of them. What I'm supposed to do over there. Hey, man, how you doing? How was your vacation?
pretty good so far.
All right. Oh, that's right, because you about to start another
I'm
one.
just kicking it. That's right.
Okay. All of us can't, but those of us who can should. So I'm glad you get ready to enjoy another vacation, man. Nah, Lewis has been busy working hard, and I'm glad you get ready to get a break, man. That's cool. Well, listen, you have joined the Urban Therapist, and you can see us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. We are all over the place, y'all, and we want to thank you so much for joining us today. We got a pretty cool topic, one that Lewis, I think this one is a little controversial. I think.
It just depends on who you are.
Well, now that's true. 'Cause some people may say, "Hey, what you doing talking about that?" There's nothing wrong with that. And other people may say, "I'm not going to get into what other people may say." So today we are going to talk a little bit about the P word. Yes, we are going to talk about pornography. Yeah, that thing that you learn about when you get a certain age. Those magazines that are hid in your uncle's bathroom behind all the other magazines. Well,
I don't
now.
think that's how it is anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say now. Oh, am I telling on myself? Well,
No,
see,
no, no.
generational.
Right.
Back in my day,
I was gonna
you
say you're
know.
just telling your age now is all you're doing. You're not telling on yourself. You're just
Is that
telling
what
your
it is?
age.
It's just okay. Well, I did go to my uncle's house. No, I'm just. Last week I was over there. As a matter of fact, hello. No, so we're gonna talk about pornography, and it's one of those subjects where um, it's important that we do talk about it because there are a lot of things involved when we talk about the issue of pornography. People have talked about freedom of speech, and freedom of expression, but people have also talked about has and does pornography um, contribute to a lot of the moral issues and a lot of the social issues that we have in our world today. So it is one of those topics that we need to talk about. It is definitely not something that you can ignore. As a matter of fact, Lewis, let's do a couple of intro slides and then we'll get into the topic because the topic for today is what you're looking at. But before we get into a lot of the stats, I want to hit you with a few that I think are important just to lead into it. Give me that first slide, man, if you don't mind. Okay, so now check this out. This is just some basic information. First, sex is the most popular search on the internet. Recent studies reveal 68%, that's like almost 7 out of 10 young adult males and 18% or almost 2 out of 10 young adult females look at porn at least once a week. And now, something I want you to remember about statistics. Statistics all depend on when they're taken, where they're taking them from, who they're interviewing. So, you know, and who's responding. And sometimes numbers can actually be higher than what people are actually reporting, and sometimes they could be lower. So, with stats, this is just to kind of give you a general overview of what's out there. Let's keep going. The trend of viewing porn in the workplace. I thought this was really okay. I can't say. I can always say I thought this was really funny. The trend of viewing porn in the workplace is also increasing, especially in North America. Now, I don't know if it be because it was already up in other countries, but especially in North America, it says the trend of viewing porn at work. I don't know. Are people, is it because we're working harder, working longer, high speed internet, better computers? Because you got a better computer at work than you got at home. So you're like, oh, I can download this real quick.
Or just accessibility. Like, it's more present. Like, I know that just from I'm an educator, and
Okay.
it's something that we have to protect students from. And it just seems like, it's just easier and easier. Like, we have a lot of filtering devices and a lot of mechanisms to protect students from finding and accessing pornography. But it's like, it just seems like the more and more websites, the more prevalent it is, the harder it is to keep them from accessing it.
Wow. And you know what? I didn't think about the part, man, dealing with the students. And then on the workplace, the average employer is not expecting their employees to be looking at porn while they're at work. And you know what's interesting? I bet you this statistic, and well, I don't have to bet you, I know this stat was done before the pandemic.
Sure.
So just imagine now how much people or how many people are watching porn,
Sure,
working from home while they're supposed to be at work. Because the next quotation, as many as 25% of adults, according to an article published in Forbes, and this is back in 2013, 25% back in 2013,
right,
reported looking at porn on their work computers at some point. Now, this was back in 2013. Approximately 25 out of 100 people reported they were doing it. So I'm sure that was an anonymous survey, because I don't think anybody's going to volunteer unless after they got caught. They're like, well, yeah, I did do it. So 25%. Now, keep going for me, man. The majority of the porn viewed at work occurred between typical work hours, between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. So people wouldn't even watching it on their lunch break.
Right.
They're coming to work, looking at it at work, during work hours. It even says statistics from previous studies revealed that now this is high. 2 out of every 3 human resource workers had discovered porn on the computers of their employees. So that means when you leave, that track is there of what you did and what you were doing. This is, I can't even say the word crazy, but I just got to ask you, what you looking at when you at work? What you looking at home? And then, Lewis, I remember the time when they came up with those things that you can put them on the screen of your computer. So if somebody walked behind, you had to be looking directly at the screen to be able to.
Right, like a privacy shield.
There you go. And so now people are getting caught. And let's just face it. It's a challenge, it's an issue, and accessibility is out of this world. So what you looking at? What are you looking at when you at work, at home? What are you looking at? Let's talk about pornography. First, what we're going to talk about, man, we're going to talk about the business side of it. This is one of the things that drives it and makes it so popular. Look at this. Every second now, 3,000 approximately $3,075.64, and some sites say approximately $3,000. So it's an average of $3,000. They agree to that is being spent on pornography, dude. $3,000 every second.
Wow.
$3,000 every second. Then it goes on to say every second. This is just how popular pornography is. Every second, 28,258 internet users are viewing pornography. Every second. I'm tempted to pick up my phone and just multiply 60 by 28,258 to see what I come up with.
Right.
These numbers are staggering. So listen, man, first of all, this thing is big business. I'm sorry, man. You want to say something?
Well, I did, and okay. So first of all, I think we need to say that in this conversation, we are not putting a judgment on whether pornography is wrong or right. But in a way, I think this is also indicative of just how much society is using the computer. Because you probably could swap out the word pornography for social media, or swap out the word pornography for Netflix and entertainment. You see what I'm saying? Because what's happening is it's like the computer is shaping our habits.
Okay.
Right? And so the things that we spend time doing at home, the things that we spend time doing in our free time, because the computer and cell phones and things are constantly in our environment, those habits then follow you wherever you go. You see what I'm saying? Like, I know people who they bring Netflix to work, right? And if their workplace allows it, they'll have a show playing right there while they're doing their work, right?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I got my Prime app on my iPhone.
Yeah, but it's one thing to have it there. It's another thing to be watching it during the time that you're supposed to be getting paid. Not even on a break, but just like there are people who they don't see that as a problem. So to me, that's not really far off from people who view pornography and don't see it as a problem. Mm-hmm. It's just like one of those, I'm so used to doing it. I'm so used to the endorphin release. I'm so used to
you getting ahead of the show.
Oh yeah, my bad. But all the things that your brain gets from doing it, mm-hmm. it becomes habitual, and it's because it's so accessible, because it's there on your hand, on your phone, or it's able to be accessed from, like I said, back in the day when it was magazines. You're not going to carry around magazines because you kind of would be like a social outcast.
Yeah, unless you had it like in a brown wrapper, we used to have to, you don't know about this stuff. We used to, for book covers, we would use brown paper bags.
Okay.
Sometimes to wrap your book.
Right.
So, we wrap it in the brown paper. But go ahead.
But now again, how easy is it to have that extra tab open that you can just jump back from? And that's just the way that our culture and society, that multitasking, that easy access, that I can be there in a moment's notice when no one else is around me to see it or to tell me that that's not appropriate for this environment or context. That's what I'm saying. So I don't want people to think that we're only picking on pornography, but pornography is a thing that really is not for public consumption. It's one of those things that probably is for your private spaces. But as you can see, it's blurring into, and really when you look at, there's actually a strong connection between social media and pornography now. And it's because of sex workers taking to social media outlets to be able to generate income. And so it's again, like if it's built into your social media feed, that every 6 posts you're going to see something related to somebody trying to get you to visit their OnlyFans or visit their whatever, where they're going to be able to access that content. It's just that much more prevalent in people's spaces. And like I said, we all have social media at work. Like I'm like let's not even pretend that it's not something that people do. Like every 10, 15 minutes, people are jumping on their phones to check a notification. So when you're checking that notification, which is a legitimate way of you probably taking a break from work, and you go down your news feed, it may not take you more than 6 or 7 swipes before you see something that interacts with potential pornography. And then that's, like I said, for people who have the impulse or the desire to want to consume it, it's that easy and that recognizable and that adaptable for them to just jump right in. And next thing you know, oh, I'm at work, but I'm doing this other thing as well.
That's a very valid point, man. And I know Lewis is the technology man. You said something, brother. Actually, you said a lot. And no, you really made me think about the transition through the years.
Right.
Something you said in feeding a habit, whereas before, if someone wanted to look at and view certain things,
yep,
it may have taken hours,
sure,
time,
sure,
driving somewhere, getting back, to feed the desire. Now they could do it like that, at the click of a button. If someone has an inclination to that, they can get it like that, which leads into, and that's one of the things we're going to be looking at as a habit, pornography. You said something, man. Where we at on time?
We're good.
We're good? Okay. You said something. We're not here to judge. Now, I know a lot of people, when you said that, are probably going to go, what? You're not saying? We're going to say a lot of things as we move forward, and we're going to deal with that. One of the things when you talk about pornography, and then you get into different aspects of the ability to communicate, there are some fine lines. Now, okay, my disclaimer, I'm not a proponent, okay? I'm not saying yes, but I'm also saying I understand freedom of speech. And that's where the thin line comes in at. And that's one reason why, man, I want to do a show one day dealing with, talking about, Christianity and faith in God. I want to do a show one day talking about or dealing with, and we'll probably do several. People want to blame the world, or Christians want to blame people that don't believe what they believe for the condition that the world is in.
Mm-hmm.
And then Christians, or so-called, want to try to legislate and enact certain laws that are based on their religious belief. Now, not just Christians, people of other denominations in other countries as well. But Christianity is the dominant belief system in the United States. And sometimes people will push their religion to the point of taking away people's freedom. And that's where we have to be careful. Now, again, I'm not talking about immorality. I'm not talking about not protecting people, especially our children.
I mean, that's really the side of pornography that is the most important consideration, is that,
right,
again, what consenting adults choose to do. And if you are of legal age, I personally don't care, and I don't have a dog in the fight, so to
Mhm.
speak. But obviously, we can see over the last 10, 20 years, the more that the internet has become ubiquitous with just homes, families, that all the things that are accessible do impact homes and families. And so it's just one of those that, I think I was reading an article that was saying how early kids are exposed to pornography now.
Mhm.
Just if it's through a casual search, if it's through someone else showing it to them, because again, it's so accessible that the likelihood that a child will encounter pornographic material will be earlier in life than it would have been 20 years ago.
Oh, definitely,
Right.
definitely. And if you look at the next point when it says every 39 minutes a new pornographic video is being
Right.
created in the United States, whereas before,
Right.
it would take
Sure. It was
for I won't say forever, but you know what I'm saying.
sure.
You got to get your 8 millimeter,
Well, right.
camera going.
And that's
But now, man, with an iPhone, you can create a whole movie. You
right.
can load it up, and bam. And
Exactly.
so, and this is part of why, like you were saying, the availability makes it so much more popular, so much more easy to access. And it's important that we know these things, and it's important to understand too that it's big business.
Yeah, well, not just big business, it's even transforming industries,
Mm,
because that's what I'm saying is like you mentioned, uh, the cell phone industry. Believe it or not, the cell phone industry really has impacted that industry, the pornographic
yeah,
industry,
yeah,
because it's the idea of easy access. Like before, you had to have all this, really expensive equipment to make movies and to make videos. And like you said, the regular iPhone today has capability that can actually build, make cinematic videos.
yeah. You can
And
you
so
can
that's
edit,
the
cut
that's the weapon
everything.
of choice for people now to make content. And again, if they can make money from content, that's what I said. This actually really exploded. I remember seeing a news article about it, but it really exploded during the pandemic because people were trying to
Oh yeah,
figure out how to
oh yeah.
make money and how to stay financially sound. And a lot of people turn to pornography as a way of making money. That's where the OnlyFans, they call it there was a boom that happened in that industry, with these different pay content sites where people can post content and have subscribers. And I'm using OnlyFans. There are others, so I don't want to just um, target them, but it's just the idea of that pay for play, um, really exploded and has only continued since, because it's easy, it's accessible. You don't have to have a whole lot of money to get started, and for some people, the returns have been considerable, and
Mm,
something that people have to think about when it comes to if you have no other income source and you think that you can build a following. And it's funny because it's like, they talk about, what are the occupations that teenagers now want to have, and one of the number one occupations is influencer, which this isn't just about pornography, but that is now in the United States. Influencer of internet influencer is now like the top desired occupation of our, I want to say it's like teenagers.
wow.
And it's like in another country it's something completely different, like an astronaut or something. And it's like it just goes to show the impact
Mm,
that the social media side of life, and this is it really, now pornography is really, it's almost like an extreme form of social media because of how it's used and marketed. Like I said, it used to be very niche, where it was just pornography and it was like its own thing. But I'm
yeah,
trying
you're
to tell you,
right.
because it has really bled into Instagram. It has really bled into TikTok. It has really bled into these arenas where people, Snapchat, where people spend a lot of their time. Like I said, it's not hard for you, if you're just a casual social media user, to encounter soft porn that then would take you into further down the rabbit hole into other kinds of things.
Yeah, now you took the word out of my mouth, because I was going to say that as you were going. That phrase came up years ago. Well, what's the difference? This is soft porn, and then you have hardcore, and you
Sure.
have this and that. Just like when they went with the movie ratings, you had
Sure,
the
sure.
G, and then PG, and then PG-13, and then R, and then X, and then X moved on to triple X. I don't know if it's a quadruple X now, but then they came up with triple X, and again, everything was pushing the boundaries of what could we do, what can we produce, what can I watch, and what do people want to see.
Yep.
So you're right. I appreciate you sharing with me about, because now the creation of people using it to make money during the pandemic, man, you dropped that on me. What I did know was during the pandemic, viewing just skyrocketed,
Correct.
because people trapped in their houses, couldn't
Yep.
go anywhere,
Yep.
getting bored, it just went out, went out the roof. And here's another stat here. It says, according to the website Family Safe Media, the pornography industry is larger than the revenues. Check this out now. The pornography industry as a whole. And when you talk about pornography, we're looking at some of everything. When it comes down to, you're talking about everything from movies to, like you were saying, Louis, about the websites, the little, you can buy time here, talk to someone. It says is larger than the revenues of the top technology companies combined. Microsoft, Google, Amazon, eBay, Yahoo, Apple, Netflix. It's saying that this industry, the money that is generated through this,
Yep.
is bigger than all those put together.
And those are all the big boys.
Those are the big boys reporting what they do. So now, man, I just made me think. So now just think about it. If my man has an iPhone and he's doing his own thing, and he sets up a Cash App or whatever, he's doing his video. So that's that money that, like you said, things are happening that we have no idea of, that is part of this industry. Let's keep rolling. Ooh, it's gonna get deep.
So I just wanted to let you know too, we're coming close to time, so you probably want to find a place to park this for part 2 as well.
Okay, so I'll tell you what, let's hit the next slide, and we're parking on that one. Okay?
Yep.
It says, according to the same website, U.S., now this is the United States, porn revenue, exceeds the combined revenues of ABC, CBS, and NBC.
That's crazy.
Listen, this is big business.
Correct.
And here's the thing. We can talk about the moral issue, and I love what you said. Adults, privacy of their home is their choice. What's being created, what's being put out, how people are being, some people do this because it's a job for them. Some people are professional porn stars. They do it because they want to do it. But the dark side of this is that there are people who are tricked into it, who are used, who are abused, who are trapped in the industry and want to get out. So there are a lot of different layers when we talk about the issue of pornography. But the one layer we're talking about, we're dealing with right now, is what you're looking at. Why are you looking at it? I'm not judging, but if you one of those people that's spending $3,000 every second,
It's more
It
than one
may,
person.
huh?
It's more than one person.
I said if you one of the people. I didn't say
one
you
of
were the
them.
only one.
Yeah, right. Okay.
You listen. If you in that 3,000, even if you spending $1 a second, it may behoove you to continue to listen to our podcast so you can see what you get into. Listen, I'm your host, Eddie Gene Hall Jr. You are listening to The Urban Therapist with my co-host and producer, good friend, Lewis Rhodes. We are talking a little bit today and the next session, a little tongue-tied here, the next session about pornography. We want you to join us. Listen, you can join us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We'd love to hear from you. We want to hear from you. And listen, you know the thing about this topic, Lewis, as we get ready to close out. You know, I do groups. I do chemical dependency counseling groups. And the one thing that I emphasize is this. There are some people that have habits that don't land them in jail, but are just as dangerous and detrimental, and maybe even more so than drinking and using drugs.
Definitely.
So when we talk about this industry, and as Lewis thoroughly brought out how it has impacted and infiltrated our lives, we just want to make you aware. All right, my friends, thank you so much for joining us. Lou, we're going to pick this back up.
I'm sure of it.
Take care, everybody.